On the night of October 15th, 1993, at the far south end of the Las Vegas Strip, a 350-foot black glass pyramid switched on a beam of light aimed directly at space. 42.3 billion candela, 39 xenon lamps, visible to pilots from 275 miles away. The strongest beam of light in the world. Inside, there was an indoor Nile River with actual boats ferrying guests around the casino perimeter. A 110-foot Sphinx out front. A King Tut museum signed off by the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities. 4,407 rooms. All of it built for $375 million, which in today's money is roughly $850 million. It was the most ambitious hotel on Earth. 33 years later, the same building is charging $29 a night. Its own parent company openly discusses demolishing it. The CEO of MGM Resorts went on an earnings call and said, quote, "Shame on us for the prices at the property." Its most recent major renovation cost $300 million and made things worse. Here's the thing. Almost nobody understands about the Luxor. It didn't fail because Las Vegas changed. Las Vegas absolutely changed, but other hotels from the same era adapted just fine. The Luxor failed because of 3 specific design decisions made in 1993 that turned out to be structurally irreversible. Decisions baked into the concrete. Decisions that made it mathematically impossible for the building to become anything other than what it already was. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to walk you through those 3 architectural sins. How each one seemed brilliant at the time. How each one quietly became a noose. And why the pyramid, for all its genius, was doomed the day the blueprints were signed. Let's start with the money. Because the Luxor's origin story has a subtle financial tell that most people miss. The $375 million construction budget sounds massive for 1993. And it was. But adjust it for modern Vegas, and the number is revealing. Resorts World, which opened on the North Strip, cost $4.3 billion. The Fontainebleau, which finally opened in 2023 after decades of delays, cost roughly $3.7 billion. Adjusted for inflation, the Luxor, at $850 million in today's dollars, was built for less than a quarter of what modern Vegas mega resorts spend. Which means the pyramid was never really a luxury build. It was a value-driven build with a wildly ambitious exterior. Circus Enterprises, which owned it, was famous for budget-conscious construction aimed at family tourists. They didn't spend Bellagio money. They spent theme park money and wrapped it in an iconic shape. The illusion was the investment. The bones were ordinary. That matters because the illusion, it turns out, is the part that aged badly. Now let's look at the 3 sins. Sin 1. The pyramid geometry itself. This is the one that gets the most attention, and it deserves every word. A pyramid is a beautiful shape. A pyramid is also a catastrophic shape for a hotel. Because hotels are fundamentally about rectangular rooms stacked on top of each other, serviced by vertical elevators, heated and cooled as efficiently as possible. A pyramid violates all 3 principles at once. Start with the elevators. You can't run a normal elevator shaft through a pyramid because the outer walls slope inward as you ascend. So the architects installed what they called inclinators. Elevators that travel at a 39-degree angle up the interior corners of the structure. In 1993, this was marketed as a marvel. In 2026, it's a legend in hospitality industry circles, and not the good kind. Inclinators experience uneven mechanical wear. Parts are proprietary. Maintenance cycles are constant. Guest injury claims are a regular line item. When an inclinator goes down, which they do, guests have to walk across a massive footprint to the next working one. Then there are the rooms themselves. Every room on the exterior of the pyramid has one slanted wall. The outer wall is literally the slope of the pyramid, made of glass. Sounds cool. Feels wrong. Guest reviews consistently report that the rooms feel cramped and claustrophobic even when the square footage is fine. That's because furniture can't sit flush against a slanted wall. The furniture floats awkwardly in the middle of the room. Traditional hotel layouts don't work. Here's what's worse. When modern hotels renovate, they rely on standardized modular upgrades. Same plumbing runs, same electrical paths, same dimensions, repeated across thousands of rooms. The Luxor can't do that. The slanted walls require bespoke engineering for every single upgrade. Running new wiring through angled concrete is a cost nightmare, which is why every time hospitality trends shift toward better connectivity, better amenities, better finishes, the Luxor gets frozen in place. It can't afford to modernize. So it doesn't. So the reviews get worse. So the pricing gets lower. And the cycle compounds. And then there's the atrium. The interior of the Luxor is essentially hollow. 29 million cubic feet of open space. At opening, the largest interior volume in the world. Which sounds impressive until you remember that all of that air has to be cooled. In the Mojave Desert. In summer. The thermodynamics are brutal. Cooled air sinks to the casino floor while the upper reaches bake under solar heat coming through the apex skylights. Every secondary catwalk and structural beam requires specialized rigging to clean or repair, which is why photos of the upper atrium often show accumulated dust. Maintaining that empty space costs millions of dollars a year in HVAC, lighting, and labor. And the empty space generates zero revenue. For context, the Skybeam alone, the famous light at the top, costs around $51 an hour to run. The atrium underneath it is quietly hemorrhaging multiples of that, every hour for 33 years and counting. Sin 2. The Egyptian theme. In 1993, the Egyptian theme was the Luxor's superpower. Everything was Egyptian. The Sphinx, the obelisk, the hieroglyphics, an indoor boat ride around the casino called the Nile River Ride, a King Tut museum with 500 reproduced artifacts. Even the staff uniforms leaned in. This was the era of so-called Disneyfication in Vegas. The Strip was leaning into family tourism. Immersive themes were the edge. The Luxor was the most extreme expression of that strategy. Then Bellagio opened in 1998. Bellagio was an inflection point. It proved that adult luxury sold better than family theming. Sleek, sophisticated, Italian restraint instead of Egyptian spectacle. And once the industry saw Bellagio's numbers, the center of gravity shifted. Every new major property that followed trended toward modern, upscale, subdued. The Venetian, Wynn, Encore, Cosmopolitan, Aria. By the mid-2000s, themed resorts felt like relics. MGM noticed. In 2007, they committed $300 million to de-theming the Luxor. The president of the property, Felix Rappaport, famously said the resort was not a museum and needed to break free from its thematic handcuffs. The Raw nightclub was demolished. The LAX Ultra Lounge took its place. Egyptian iconography came off the casino floor. The restaurants were rebranded. The color palettes were muted. It was a serious attempt to pull the Luxor into the 21st century. It didn't work. And here's the important part. It didn't fail because of execution. It failed because you cannot de-theme a pyramid. The exterior is still a pyramid. The Sphinx is still out front. The obelisk still stands. The shape itself is the theme. You can change the wallpaper. You cannot change the geometry. So what MGM bought for $300 million was cognitive dissonance. Guests now walk past a giant Sphinx into a generic modern casino. They take a 39-degree elevator up to a slanted wall room decorated in beige. The two halves of the experience don't match. The old theme is what made the property distinct. The new interior is what made it forgettable. Between the two, the Luxor lost its identity entirely. Compare this to New York, New York, which opened just 4 years after the Luxor. New York, New York is themed, heavily themed. But its hotel towers behind the facade are standard rectangular buildings. When theming fell out of fashion, MGM renovated the rooms and updated the casino floor without fighting slanted walls. The theme was cosmetic. The bones were flexible. That property aged fine. Or compare it to the Mirage, which opened in 1989 with a Polynesian theme and a fake volcano. Its hotel tower was a standard Y-shaped high-rise. When Hard Rock International bought it recently, they stripped the theme and are literally replacing the entire tower with a guitar-shaped building. That level of reinvention is possible because the geometry allowed it. The Luxor can't do any of that. You cannot unpyramid a pyramid. You can only operate it or demolish it. Sin 3. The location. In 1993, the Luxor's location made sense. The south end of the Strip was a self-sustaining ecosystem for value tourists. Circus owned Excalibur right next door. Mandalay Bay, built by the same parent company, eventually opened on the other side. 3 value-focused mega-resorts in a cluster, feeding each other's foot traffic. A guest could park once and spend a week bouncing between them. Then, over 30 years, the center of gravity in Vegas quietly marched north. Bellagio, Caesars, the Venetian, Wynn, Encore, Cosmopolitan, Aria, all clustered in the middle and north strip. Then, Resorts World opened at the far north. Then, the Fontainebleau. Then, the Sphere reoriented the entire entertainment axis away from the south. Every major capital project of the last decade was built further from the Luxor, not closer. Modern Vegas runs on walkable luxury clusters. Affluent tourists want to move from high-end dining to gaming to entertainment to nightclub in a tight radius. The Luxor is a 20-minute walk south of that radius. Pedestrians rarely make the trek past New York, New York to reach it. Its proximity to Harry Reid International Airport is a minor convenience for arrivals, not a foot traffic driver. People land, take a taxi past the pyramid to their North Strip hotel, and don't come back. Meanwhile, visitor volume to Vegas overall declined 7.5% in 2025, dropping to 38.5 million. Luxury properties remained resilient because high rollers continued spending. Mass market properties suffered disproportionately. The Luxor is mass market. It got the worst of that trend while losing the last of its walkable neighbors to competing luxury developments. So when you add up the 3 sins, a geometry that prevents modernization, a theme that can't be removed, and a location that's become peripheral, you get a specific kind of structural trap. The property can't move up market. It can't reinvent. It can only slide down. And that's exactly what the timeline shows. The Luxor opened to packed houses in 1993. By 1996, management was already building 2 conventional rectangular hotel towers next to the pyramid to add 2,000 more rooms, which is itself a quiet admission that the original geometry wasn't working. In the late 1990s, the Nile River ride was drained and paved over to reclaim casino floor. In the 2000s, the King Tut Museum was shut down and relocated off-strip. In 2007, the de-theming happened. By the 2010s, the property had slid into the value tier, filling its rooms with traveling exhibitions like Bodies and the Titanic artifact display to generate foot traffic. By 2020, demolition was openly discussed at the corporate level. Every one of those moves was reactive. None of them fixed the underlying problem. They couldn't. Which brings us to the part of this story that most critics get wrong. The Luxor is not dead. It is not even unprofitable. This is important. The original $375 million construction cost has been fully amortized for decades. Every dollar the property generates today is essentially pure operating cash flow against maintenance, labor, and utilities. And MGM's Las Vegas portfolio reported a 91% occupancy rate in late 2025. The Luxor's 4,407 rooms are essential to hitting that number. It packs its inventory full of college students, budget conventioneers, international tourists, and anyone else who wants the Vegas experience without the Bellagio price tag. This is the cash cow in decline hypothesis. The property doesn't need to compete with Aria. It needs to fill rooms at $29 a night, feed people into the broader MGM ecosystem, keep them gambling, keep them eating, keep them going to shows. And it works. In 2024, MGM reported $17.2 billion in consolidated net revenues. The Luxor is not the crown jewel, but it's a reliable cog. The demolition rumors that surfaced in 2020 and again in 2024 have quietly faded. CEO Bill Hornbuckle was explicit on a recent call. He said, quote, "This is our home and our core, and we'll continue to reinvest in it." In the same breath, he admitted the company had, quote, "lost the narrative on pricing," specifically calling out charging $12 for coffee at budget properties. That's not a company planning to blow up the pyramid. That's a company finally accepting what the pyramid actually is. Here's why demolition almost certainly isn't coming soon. The Tropicana was imploded in 2024 to make way for a baseball stadium. The implosion permit alone cost $1.2 million. Total demolition and site clearing ran an estimated $15 million. The Tropicana was a standard mid-century hotel. The Luxor is 30 stories of reinforced concrete shaped like a pyramid. Demolishing it would be a logistical and financial project of a different order entirely. Add to that the lost feeder revenue of 4,407 rooms, and the math for demolition doesn't close. So the Luxor is stuck. Not stuck failing, stuck as itself. Forever. Let's zoom out. When you tell the story of the Luxor, it's tempting to frame it as a tale of hubris punished. The ambitious pyramid that flew too close to the sun and melted. But the truth is quieter and more useful. The Luxor is a case study in architectural determinism, the idea that the shape of what you build dictates what it can become. The 1993 team didn't just choose a theme or a color palette. They chose a geometry, and geometry is permanent. The moment they poured that concrete at 39 degrees, they had made every future decision for the property on behalf of every CEO who would come after them. You can change a theme. You can change a price point. You can change an executive team. You cannot change a pyramid. And this is the part worth thinking about beyond hotels. Every company, every career, every life has architectural decisions and decorative ones. The architectural ones are rare, irreversible, and quietly make every downstream choice on your behalf for decades. The decorative ones are frequent, reversible, and feel more important than they are. The Luxor spent $300 million rearranging the decoration. The architecture had already decided. So here's the question worth carrying away. In your own life, your own work, what looks like a bold creative flourish but is actually a load-bearing wall? And what are you about to pour at 39 degrees that will quietly define the next 3 decades? The pyramid still stands at the south end of the strip. Its beam still points at the sky. And the people running it, finally, after 33 years, understand exactly what they built.